Paul McKenna is a man on a mission. He's out to prove there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Often employing new and controversial techniques, Paul believes the mind has a limitless capacity to reprogram itself. In short, he believes he can change your life.
Sprinkled it in. There you go.
Tonight, Paul meets Dee, whose terror of motorways is putting her life at risk.
And all of a sudden this terrible panic comes over you and your heart starts to race. And then my whole body physically, uncontrollably shaking.
Can Lynette conquer her stage fright for a once-in-a-lifetime audition?
If you're so nervous that you can't even begin to think about the emotion, then you've hit a barrier.
And he meets Sandra, whose cleaning obsession has devastated her family's life as well as her own.
I love my fiancé, my daughter, my family, but I sometimes think my cleaning is more important than them.
Tonight, the pressure really is on for Lynette, whose dream is to be a professional opera singer. Can Paul help her pass the audition of a lifetime? Will Dee overcome her fear of motorways?
It's just as if something just takes over your whole body and I don't feel in control of my car.
Not only is her life in danger, but also her job.
You can't have an area manager that can't drive a car to a branch.
I think most people find change a bit scary because human beings like familiarity, even when it's dysfunctional. So what I do is help people step outside their comfort zone so that they can move beyond their limitations.
But getting his first case to step out of her comfort zone is a challenge that may be too much even for Paul. It's first thing in the morning and Leeds housewife Sandra Klein has a full day ahead. As for many housewives, cleaning is part of her daily routine.
I like to clean the bathroom at night before I go to bed, and then again in the morning, and then again in the evening.
But for Sandra, cleanliness is far more than a matter of pride. It's her life.
To me it means all about germs and contamination, mainly bringing germs from outside into my home.
Sandra suffers from a condition known as obsessive-compulsive disorder. She washes her hands hundreds of times a day.
I could never count how many times I wash my hands, it'd be too many. I'd lose count after about the first hour. When it's been really cold, I've had very big cuts and gashes here, and they actually bleed when I bend them. In fact, I couldn't bend that finger at all for about 2 weeks.
Obsessive behaviour affects us all in some ways, but for Sandra, it dominates her life.
I think I've always had tendencies in my life, but I think this past 10 years, whether it's been anxiety or stress of different things, it's made it worse and worse.
Her obsession with cleanliness can prove hard to live with.
For as long as I can remember, I've not been able to have, well, I was able to have friends round, and then gradually when I got older it stopped.
Sandra and her daughter live with Sandra's fiancé and his mother.
The love of my life. That's what the relationship is. Yeah, I want to spend the rest of my life with her as well.
Sandra and Alexia used to live 20 minutes away in this flat until Sandra's obsessive rules drove her daughter out of the house.
When I came in, I had to take my shoes and socks off before I walked through the door, and I wasn't allowed to touch the walls or the doors or anything. I had to get straight into the bath, and I wouldn't be allowed to make myself a drink or anything to eat. I'd have to wait for my mum to do it in her own time.
I found it very hard. I mean, it wasn't so much the cleaning, it was other things, with, like not being able to go in.
He stood on the doorstep in the snow talking to me. But sometimes I didn't have time to stand at the door talking to him. I had things to do, and I'd say, Stephen, I must go, thanks for the shopping, or thanks for whatever. I've got to go get on now. And he said, yeah, I know, we need to go.
I'd get a call at 9 o'clock at night, can you come and get the rubbish? I mean, I don't know any other men that do it, but, I did it. I'd get in the car and I'd go round and just see it for 30 seconds, pick a bag of rubbish and put it in a bin that's outside a flat. it hurts. I used to think it's me, although I know it's not me because Alexia couldn't have her friends in either, and I'd like to see Sandra write for Alexia.
I felt like I was either a prisoner in my own home or a guest in my own home. I'll do anything not to go back.
The flat now stands empty, and Sandra can't bear anyone to go in it. Steve had hoped that when Sandra moved in with him and away from her own home, her need to clean would diminish, but it's returned worse than ever.
I knew there was a problem, obviously, and I know what it is now. So I didn't argue. I just let her get on with it, and when she's not been in, obviously I've done it myself. I didn't want to make a fuss. Just had to adjust.
I always think to myself, I hope I'm not like that with my children, because I don't want them to feel the way that I feel or felt when we lived at home. I don't want it to rub off on me, which like some things do, like I'm always washing my hands. When I'm at home I find myself automatically going to wash my hands so my mum doesn't tell me all the time to do it, and then I can say I've just done it.
I think she's realised that it's not my fault anymore. She used to blame me for it and cry over it and say, you know, it's all your... But now I think she's getting older, she knows it's psychological.
Why can't our relationship be like I see my brother's relationship? You know, yeah, there is anger there. I mean, not anger towards her, but anger towards the problems she's got.
The condition's got maybe as bad as it can get. What with not letting people in and using all my energies to clean and think with, I don't think it could get any worse. I haven't been that happy for a long time. I do cry a lot, mainly when I'm on my own, probably. You know, I've been to the doctor and they don't have a lot of sympathy. I've tried counselling, I've tried Prozac.
OCD has beaten all treatment Sandra's previously tried, but she hopes Paul may have the answer.
The unconscious mind is not logical. This is not logical behaviour, but it's purposeful. This will be fulfilling some purpose.
I don't really know how it works, but I'm hoping it's going to be quite a quick thing so I can get my life back to normal.
If he helps my mum, I can live normally at home like a 19-year-old does.
Hello?
Hi, is that Sandra?
It is.
Hi, it's Paul McKenna speaking.
Hi.
How you doing, Sandra?
First, Paul discovers just how Sandra views dirt in the home.
How do you know it's spoiled then? What do you see? What you see when you think of your house right now, you think of it as pure and clean, yeah?
Yeah. It's spoiling the cleanliness I've reached. It's spoiling it, and I've got to start all over again.
What she's doing is feeling fear and then imagining, you know, things getting worse. The worse she feels, the more she imagines terrible things. The more she imagines terrible things, the worse she feels. So it's a self-reinforcing cycle. And what I'm going to do is try and spoil that tomorrow.
She's going to make it nice for Paul tomorrow. She was working all day yesterday.
Sandra goes over the bathroom for the last time.
I'm absolutely worn out.
She's now been cleaning for 16 hours.
I've been at it since about 7 this morning, so I'm ready for bed now.
The next day, Paul travels to Leeds to meet Sandra.
We have programs of compulsion within us. For example, we feel compelled to put our clothes on before we leave the house each morning. Or if, say, we won the lottery, we'd feel a feeling of compulsion to go and pick up our winnings. It's not something we might get around to at some stage.
Hello?
Hi, Sandra, it's Paul McKenna.
Hi, if you push the door.
And what's happened is, for Sandra, the pattern of compulsion around cleaning is overgeneralised, so she's overprotecting herself. So I'm going to go and change that and reset the thermostat of normal compulsion around cleaning. You don't want to shake hands with me,
Well, I'm shaking hands with him. Come in.
Is there any chance of a cup of your fine northern tea?
There is, yeah.
Oh, I've been looking forward to that all the way up here. So the tea's always better in the north.
So they say.
I know it's true.
We were living in Manchester and we moved to Leeds.
Sandra begins by telling Paul about her life. She reveals a broken marriage and life as a single parent.
Yeah. So I was allowed to put more energies into my cleaning. Nobody's spoiling it. If I cleaned it, it would stay like that.
Yeah, when you were describing a time when you had great instability taking place in your life, one of the places you found order was in your own domain, which is the kitchen. Dirty is the worst thing, is it?
Paul also needs to find out just how extreme her fear of dirt is.
What's bad about being unclean?
To me, it's the end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
It's big. I mean, I love my fiancé, my daughter, my family, but I sometimes think my cleaning is more important than them. I always look on there. If there's crumbs on there, I can't stand that. They come in, they just cut it and it drops on the floor and I go mental. And I won't say anything to them.
Yeah.
But inside,
you're
really mad.
Yeah,
because I'm tired, I've just done it all.
That's how you motivate yourself to do it. I'm going to ask you to tap on various points.
This tapping technique, known as thought field therapy, reorganizes the way that compulsive behavior is coded in the brain.
Crumbs, 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 and jingle bells, jingle all the way. Count out loud from 1 to 5 while you think about.
He repeats this process again and again until the message is recoded.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Tap here. Think about crumbs, think about crumbs. Okay, and stop. Good. Actually, what we're doing is a bit at a time, we are reducing the old pattern's intensity. Yeah? So if you close your eyes, and in a moment, I'm going to reach over and touch you on the knee, and I want to create an associational link between a good feeling and this particular...
Paul now wants Sandra to feel good about crumbs, so she no longer feels the compulsion to clear them away.
You didn't have a care in the world. Yeah, maybe you're on holiday or something like that.
Holidays, because I don't worry as much.
There you go. Let's take that feeling of not worrying so much. Yeah. There we go. And then put a little crumb or two, just one tiny little crumb in this happy time. But it doesn't seem to matter. And that crumb would be so lonely on its own, so let's give it a brother or sister, shall we? Oh, in fact, why not let's have the family of crumbs there? If we're having the family, we might as well have the village, the town and the city. There are crumbs all over the place, but it doesn't matter because they're minding their own business, just being crumbs. So open your eyes and imagine there's crumbs there now. What's the difference?
I'm not as bothered about them. I'm thinking about the other thing.
But how will she cope with the real thing? And when she resists treatment, Paul gets tough.
You either do it or you don't do it. And if you don't do it, there are serious consequences.
Also, will Paul get a motorway phobic back in the fast lane?
To see motorway, someone makes me anxious. It makes me feel nervous.
And can he help a talented singer tackle her paralysing stage fright? Paul is about to get obsessive-compulsive Sandra to face one of her greatest fears.
Let's make some crumbs.
Mess in the kitchen.
Crumbs, 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 crumbs. There we go. Ah, there we go. Some proper crumbs, those are. But then, remember the good feeling. Remember when you don't have a care in the world. Just close your eyes for a moment. Remember that now. Back here on the boat, feeling...
Once again, Paul fires off Sandra's positive state to cancel out the negative.
What you heard and feel how you felt, and open your eyes and look at the crumbs. It's not the same, is it?
I'm not bothered.
You're not bothered?
Not as bothered. I'd rather have one or the other.
We've only been doing this a few minutes and you're not bothered about the crumbs.
Not as bothered.
Not as bothered.
Paul may have lessened her fear of domestic dirt, but Sandra reveals a far greater anxiety, dirt brought in from the outside world.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let's try not to let them
See,
know.
what was interesting there was you said, I don't know where they've been. What's the worst places they could have been?
On a bus, in a taxi.
On a bus or a taxi?
Public places.
Yeah, and what will they have gotten on a bus or a taxi?
Oh, if they've sat worse, a dirty pair of tramp or
We're a tramp. Yeah, okay, cool. So a tramp will have the highest grade of dirt,
God,
yeah?
I could never get
That's
near
your
a tramp.
5-star dirt, is it?
I think that would be my worst fear.
Yeah,
Well, one of
tramp's dirt. Yeah. So if you close your eyes and let's bring Mini Tramp in, and he's dirty and he's horrible, he's grubby, he's been in a rubbish tip. Ugh. Bring him right up close. Ugh. Have you got the price of a cup of tea, darling? Show me where the feeling starts and moves to.
Through visualization, Paul gets Sandra to sense the direction the fear moves and change its direction, thus reducing or even cancelling it out.
Compulsion.
He then hypnotizes her.
Without you having to over-compulse, like you have been doing. Ooh, feel good? Yes, you look very relaxed. How do you feel about a bit of dirt?
in here.
Yeah. If a bit was on the floor,
Like
I
that.
think, like that, yeah. Would that normally freak you out?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about it right now?
I'd have got the floor wiped, so do it later when I do.
Yeah. Yeah. How about shaking hands? Yeah. It's
Now
fantastic.
everybody's going to go mad at me because I'm not cleaning up anymore. They're gonna
Well,
miss
you
it.
know what? Yeah, but you see, you've got license. You go. If anyone gives you a hard time, you go.
just leave it, I'll
Paul
do it
McKenna
later."
made. Sorry, it's all his fault. You know, he made me program my mind.
It's good. That's really good.
You won't be saying that when you've got to do it.
I know.
So it was almost like a meditation for her, cleaning. Yeah, and what I did was gave her feelings of calm without having to clean.
You can clean that. Or I'll do it later, but if not, you can do it.
I'll clean it.
Now good for you.
But Paul's breakthrough with Sandra is short-lived, and his frustration at her resistance to treatment is beginning to show.
I'm going to assume that she's not somebody I can help, because with some things people really do have to meet me halfway.
Lynette Peterson is an Oxford science graduate.
If we're talking and thinking about genes,
Molecular medicine is one of her passions.
Science I've always loved, and I guess I was kind of raised with the idea that that was a more practical thing to do. You can actually earn your living doing science. I'm taking aspects of molecular medicine and then also immunology, virology and microbiology.
When she's not learning it at college, she's teaching it at her home nearby. But if there's anything she loves more than science, it's music.
After my father died, I kind of re-evaluated things and just wanted to do music. It was my passion.
But for Lynette, music is more than a passion. She wants to make it her living.
Really, the question is, what do you want out of life?
Right, now just there, just hang on your vowel a
She
bit
may be
longer.
highly talented and ambitious, but when faced with an audition, she's paralyzed by fear.
Qu'il le tient si longtemps.
If I'm going to be able to support myself and do it professionally, I have to overcome my fear of auditioning. I'm very much a perfectionist, and I have very high expectations, both of other people and more really of myself. And I imagine what the people are doing when I'm auditioning. I imagine the criticisms, and I find that very difficult.
And Lynette hopes Paul will be able to give her the confidence she needs.
I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I'm really hoping that we can work together and I can just have this stage fright removed.
And Lynette needs Paul more than ever. She's been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to audition at one of the country's most prestigious musical establishments, the English National Opera.
I've been nervous, I think, since last week, since I found out about the audition.
Many performers get anxiety, not because they don't have the technical ability, but they don't know how to put themselves in the appropriate state. It's when you just do and say or sing or, move in the right way, a way where it's all effortless and just flows beautifully. Now, I'm going to put her in that state by thinking about all the things that could go wrong and not thinking about all the things that could go right. You're telling your subconscious, make things go wrong. A bit like driving down the street with your foot on the accelerator and slamming the brake on all the time. We're going to start with a martial arts technique from the discipline of Aikido.
Okay.
So push harder, push
Paul
harder.
begins by teaching Lynette an Aikido technique that instantly controls panic.
I'm going to move it. I'm going to put my attention, my consciousness, in my tummy, just below my belly button.
By moving attention from her mind to her stomach, Lynette immediately feels calmer.
And you have become strong like a bull.
Okay.
At the moment, we've got the fear way down. But what we want to do is to have more of that. Do you know what? I'm really going to go for it. And even if I mess it up, so what? Yeah? I'm just going to give it my best, because you'd rather be 95 years old, having gone for it, tried your best, and succeeded to the extent that you have. I just want to crank up your tenacity. See, for me, it's not just the confidence. I think you need a more of a in there, yeah? There you go, that's it.
And it's her confidence he tackles next.
I'm going to show you how to switch on and switch off the zone, the flow, the groove, whatever you want to call it. Because I want you to be able to do this before you do any performance, and after a while, it will become a matter of habit. Squeeze your thumb and fingers together and create an associational link between that perfect performance and this activity, yeah? Because we're going to create a link between the two things by remembering the good times, but remembering them very vividly. Can you remember one? Good. Close your eyes and step back into that moment, Lynette, like it is happening now. Yeah. Okay, relax. Squeeze thumb and fingers together. You feel good? Yeah. I want you to practice this every day, relentlessly, until, boom, you can feel the zone. Yeah? Because we want to program your mind, because that is a neurochemical event.
Okay.
Good performance is a neurochemical event.
Now Paul uses powerful visualization techniques to help release Lynette's full potential.
I'd like you to imagine what it would be like to be a world-class opera singer. Watch a movie of you now, it's years in the future. A movie of you at the Met, walking out, bam, there's presidents, there's glitterati of the opera world, and you walk out and you're absolutely astounding. You give the most amazing performance. I'd like you to watch that movie right now. Your voice is your instrument, and you suddenly find this surge of power, this massive amount of energy that just comes up, and you, bam, you're able to release that power. There we go. That's a much more positive state. You're in a completely different place. Step forward into her, right into her. Now, close your eyes and see through her eyes.
But will her nerves hold together?
Lynette,
this is
John
Lynette.
Berry.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. This is your company.
It's her big moment. She's only got one chance to impress English National Opera's Director of Programming, John Berry.
I thought she looked very relaxed, and I thought her breathing was relaxed, and she seemed to be enjoying herself, and I think she was giving out all of the right signals. You looked very relaxed.
Oh, it was great, actually. I got into the emotion of the song.
The main thing with
Thank you so
auditions is to do really the best job you can do.
Yes.
To be as relaxed as possible.
Yes.
But you can't lose the anxiety or the nerves, because you need that to be able to perform well. But it looked to me as if you were really controlling it. I think she did very well, but it's an extremely competitive business. We might audition 500 or 600 opera singers in a year, and it's highly competitive.
It was quite a buzz, a very good feeling. I didn't really expect to feel like that.
As you can see, she was so much better. She just performed for a very important person in the opera world with a film crew in front of her and did it virtually fearlessly.
I want to do this again, and I want to have this feeling again.
It's only been a few days since Sandra's first session with Paul, but she's already relapsing. She won't let anyone in her flat for fear of contamination. It's been empty for months.
I'm feeling all right if I just go in. Even then, I'm not that keen.
But more crucially, she's also challenging Paul's instructions to lessen her hand washing.
I can wash my hands 10 times in 5 minutes. So how could I possibly do it 10 times in one day? I think he washes his more probably than 10 times a day.
Paul calls her to London for another session. And this time he concentrates on her hands.
Imagine putting dirt on your hand. Lump of mud, how does it feel?
Okay.
It feels okay. And then I want you to go like that and rub them together. Yeah. Okay, let's go upstairs, shall we? I've got some mud upstairs. A good supply of high quality mud. Oh, lovely, lovely mud. That's good. Nice for actually leaving on the hands. And then put some mud on your hands and then just leave it there. Right. And hold one point, put your attention in your tummy. Just relax your hands by your side. There we go. Now, just relax. Now, where's the desire to clean your hands on a scale of 1 to 10?
About 4.
4. Hold one point till it's a 3. Okay. 2. And we'll leave it at 2. See, the thing is, I want a signal, if my hands are dirty, to tell me to wash my hands, right? But it doesn't have to be overwhelming, so I have to go and do it that moment. I want to decide when I'll do it. Oh, now that's a proper clean, that is, isn't it?
I do feel stronger, and I just hope when I get home that it's still stronger and I can do it.
Okay. I think I am a compulsive person to some extent, but my compulsions are reasonably functional. I feel very compelled to do my job, to do the things I love to do. But there are little things that wind me up. Do you know, I really hate the telephone cable all wound up. I hate a feeling like I want to straighten it out. And I'm sure to some extent we can all relate to that.
The next day, Sandra is still feeling strong. Under Paul's instruction, she does something she's never done before: visit a charity shop.
To me, they're dirty. They look dirty. Look like somebody else has maybe sweated in them or had a rash, or just dirty people. I'm not saying they're all dirty, but to me they are. And I wouldn't dare put them on. And whatever, I would never dare put them on. In fact, I don't even like touching them, but I'm touching them. I'm not happy about it.
But the old pattern quickly re-emerges.
Right, well, I've been in there about 10 minutes. I still feel like I've got to give my hands a good wipe from touching the clothes. Some of the people looked a bit dodgy.
And back home in Leeds, only 2 days after seeing Paul, the obsession has returned as strong as ever.
I'm just going to give it a wipe round before I have dinner. Because I've been out today and I left it all nice before I went out, so just want to make sure.
She was all right for the first couple of days after Paul first saw her. Well, then that's just slowly but surely she just, I don't know, went back into the way she was.
Sandra's not sure whether Paul's methods are working.
When Paul says to me on the phone, give me a number of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? And I say 10 because I'm feeling bad, and then he'll start doing the exercise with me and how are you feeling now? And I say it's going down to 4, 3, 2, but sometimes I don't know if it really is. I just think every time he hypnotises me, am I really being, am I really under? Is it really working?
Bon appetit, babe.
Tensions increase even more after dinner when Sandra is joined by Alexia and her friend.
You want to get better, so just really work hard. That's all you need to do.
See, I think people are being cruel to me all the time by pushing me, and they expect too much because they don't understand that this has been a way of life for so long. And I just think they're all picking on me and being cruel, but I know they're not.
We're not. We love you.
Yeah, but you don't really understand what it's like to be me and to wake up every day and every night and think, oh, another day of doing that, and I'm tired, I don't want to do that today, and I'm not going to do it, and then...
Because we're not like that, it's hard for us to understand. And sometimes maybe I think to myself that you want to be like that, just because I don't understand why anyone would want to be like that. But I try.
Paul is having more difficulty with this case than he first thought. He turns to his old friend and mentor for advice. Dr. Richard Bandler, one of the world's most renowned behavioral scientists and creator of Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
The last guy, you have to scare her. You have to say, look, I've had compulsives before, and one of two things will surely happen. Either you follow every instruction I give you, or you're headed for a life of loneliness, of misery. Everyone you love will leave you. You'll be alone. Cats won't even like you.
So she gets so scared of the life of loneliness, which ultimately she will have.
Happens to them.
Yeah.
But scaring her is not enough. Richard also tells Paul about a technique that turns the obsession back on itself.
You have to enjoy driving them nuts. I call them in the middle of the night and go, oops, there's something I forgot to tell you about. So that everything they obsess about, you have to get them to obsess about not doing it.
Yes.
And because, remember, my work is only about one thing, freedom. With obsessive compulsives, all of the attention they get from human beings is based on their disorder. So you have to make them so they can get attention for something else. In fact, they have to get negative attention. That's why you can't be too nice to them. That's what'll make it hard for Paul. Paul's nice to everybody. And you kind of have to make it so they don't want to see you anymore.
So for Sandra's third session, Paul tries a tougher approach.
But let's talk about dirt. Dirt is a sign that people are there in that place. It's a sign of life. A lack of it is a sign of death, of nothing. Yeah? And what we need to remind ourselves constantly is that when we see some dirt, that it means that our loved ones are nearby.
It's true.
Every time that somebody leaves a little bit of dirt in the kitchen, it's a sign of life, of another human being there. Because can you imagine a house where not a single piece of carpet had been trodden on? Every surface was immaculately clean. There was no dirt, but there was nobody there.
Just me touching things, that's how it was.
Without anybody else.
Lonely.
Lonely. Lonely and devoid of life. Clean. Lonely. Lonely, clean. But then dirty, a bit of dirt says that there's somebody there. There's life there. Dirt and life. Now I need you to copy down these instructions exactly the way that I described them to you. There's a bit of paper.
As Richard Bandler suggested, Paul now gives Sandra a set of instructions that aim to turn the obsession back on itself.
24. You have to imagine putting your hand into dirt and feeling good. At 5:18, decide which part of your body feels best. This is your new structure. It doesn't matter what's going on, yeah, you have to, at 11:12, write down something you can look forward to today. It would be something like seeing my daughter.
I don't understand how this could work.
You don't need to. You don't have to understand consciously a thing about this in order to get better. This is giving her a new framework of things that absolutely must be done at exact times, and all of them involve feeling good. This is an example of using obsessive compulsion back on itself. So Sandra's got something else to compulse about now, because she's going to have to hit an exact time junction. 12 minutes past the hour, she's going to have to remember to smile several times.
This is taxes, not keen on them.
Coming up, will Sandra's resistance to treatment prove too much for Paul?
You either do it or you don't do it. And if you don't do it, there are serious consequences. If you do it, you will get better.
Whilst Dee needs to cure her motorway phobia fast if she's going to keep her job.
Obviously, there may come a point where I can't really continue doing my job as I can't drive anywhere.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and one of Britain's biggest removal firms is gearing up for a busy day of transporting people's possessions across the country. It's a big operation, and to make sure things go smoothly, area manager Dee Macaulay is on hand. It's a job she loves to do.
I'm area manager of several branches throughout the Midlands. Hello, Dee Macaulay. I've got branches in areas like Peterborough, Nottingham, Milton Keynes.
But maybe not for much longer.
Bye. It requires me to go and visit the branches on a regular basis, so obviously that involves a lot of driving, motorway driving.
It's the motorways that are the problem. She hasn't been able to drive on one for 6 months.
I was driving along the motorway and all of a sudden I felt as if my heart started racing, and I came out in sort of like a hot flush and everything, but my whole body physically uncontrollably shaking. So I pulled into the next motorway services, thought I'd have a cup of hot sweet coffee, maybe that'll sort it out, and it didn't. Got back on the motorway, was still the same, and had to get off at the next junction and pull into a hotel and stay overnight.
For a woman who spends half her working life on the road, these panic attacks became a major problem.
Since then, I've avoided motorways, I've avoided dual carriageways, which isn't good, obviously, because of my job. It's hard being in Birmingham. To get anywhere from Birmingham, you really need to go on the motorway.
If she does desperately have to be somewhere that involves a motorway journey, I have to take her. So I suppose there is a knock-on effect of that, but it gives me an excuse to drive her car, which is obviously a bit nicer than mine.
The bosses have been understanding, but obviously there may come a point where, in my position, I can't really continue doing my job as I can't drive anywhere. To see a motorway sign makes me anxious. It makes me feel nervous.
Dee has an idea when this irrational fear began.
Last year I was travelling down to a meeting down in London, and someone was carrying some canoes on the back of a trailer, and the wind caught them and it blew the canoes across the central reservation and smashed into my car. But at the time it didn't affect me at all. Just pulled off, got back in my car and thought nothing more of it. But
psychological technology has dramatically improved. So things that used to take us months, we can now do in minutes.
Having tried prescription drugs, Dee is now desperate. Unfortunately for her, Paul's convinced he can eliminate this fear fast and by phone.
You don't need to be there in person. My intuition is I'm going to be able to do this over the phone. So why don't we give it a go? If you were to remember the time that you had that panic feeling, where did it start and where did it move to?
it started in my tummy.
And where did it move
and
to?
Moved all the way sort of up to my chest.
Great. Okay, what colour would you say it is? Just give it a colour.
Red.
So what I want you to do is to remember that panic attack best you can and get yourself as scared as you can right now.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good. So you're feeling scared right now, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Pull the feeling out. So see the red wheel in front of you as you pull all of it out and put it in front.
Paul needs to induce a feeling of panic in Dee to show her how to eliminate it.
Yep.
Spin that wheel of blue inside you, spinning down instead of spinning up. Faster and faster. What's happening to the feeling of fear?
I'm feeling calmer.
Yeah, good. Tell me when there's no fear left, that you spin that blue faster and faster. And now what I want you to do is, while you spin that feeling, I want you to imagine you're Superwoman. Put a cape on, punch your fist in the air and fly off into the air. And I want you to fly to a motorway where you were once driving and you were scared, and fly alongside the car with you having a panic attack. And look at you in the car going, wah! And look at yourself and laugh and go, ha 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 ha, I can't believe I got that scared.
Dee remembers the incident, but this time from a distance, so it appears to be happening to someone else.
Now, I want you to float inside yourself, inside that car, driving on the motorway. Yeah?
Yeah.
And spin the blue faster and faster. Feel the feeling of the steering wheel, your hands on the wheel. Do it again and again and again. Just keep doing it.
Hey, I'm driving.
Fantastic. Not only are you cured, but I think you're actually going to quite enjoy this.
Hope so.
Yeah, so...
Paul now wants Dee to go to a place where she would normally feel anxious. Her car.
Are you in the car?
I am, yes.
Great. So you got any red fear going on?
No, not at all. It's all
Fantastic. So I want you to squeeze your thumb and finger together Yeah, and remember how good it feels, that feeling you felt when you passed your test and you're driving in the early years of your driving experience, and feeling that real novelty, freedom, fascination and excitement. You're going to be going onto the motorway, and then you're going to drive faster, slower, change lanes, you're going to come off the motorway and then maybe go on it again.
Right.
Great. Have fun, and I'd like to hear how well it goes.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care, Dee.
Thanks, Paul.
All the
Cheers.
best. Bye-bye. Bye. She was very responsive to my suggestions, and with some people, it's easier than others.
I'm so excited, I can't wait to get going.
For safety reasons, her first venture onto the motorway will be in a dual-control car.
Nice to meet you. You ready to go?
Yes, you?
Here's your keys, yeah, let's make a move.
I would be so nervous driving up here before, just the thought of going anywhere near a motorway. Someone's for the motorway.
Yes.
Okay, here goes. You ready for this?
Carry on.
I can't believe I'm on a motorway.
It's an incredible turnaround. Only 6 months ago, this journey would have terrified her.
It's amazing. I just can't believe it. I want to say my branches better beware because I'm back.
I think that not only will Dee not be frightened of driving on motorways now, I think she'll become generally more confident and enjoy driving. I mean, driving, I think, is a great pleasure.
And can she drive on her own?
It feels absolutely fantastic to be in my own car. To be heading towards a motorway and knowing that I can actually get on it and drive on it. It just feels like as if I've got part of my life that's taken away from me. I've just spoken to my mum and she's like, well, what exactly did you do? And I was like, I can't tell you what he's done, but he's just done it.
Whilst Dee drives off into the fast lane, Sandra is still stuck in the slow lane.
You have to follow this exactly.
Paul has given her a very specific list of instructions to carry out at certain times of the day.
What this is doing is giving her a new framework of things that absolutely have to be, must be done at exact times, and all of them involve feeling good.
But Sandra's not so enthusiastic. She's more concerned about a forthcoming holiday.
I'm going away to get away from everything, and Stephen's not going to be too pleased. It's not as though it's just the odd time, it's like from 9:32 in the morning till 10 something. It's not going to be easy. I mean, I'll try and do it, but obviously I want to rest on holiday to get away from all that.
Paul's not happy with Sandra's negative attitude.
You either do it or you don't do it. And if you don't do it, there are serious consequences.
Paul's insistent that treatment should continue when Sandra's at her most relaxed, on holiday. To check she's doing her exercises, he calls her.
I'm going to call her now, and if she hasn't followed those instructions, if she still has a reason for not doing it, I'm going to assume that she's not somebody I can help, because with some things people really do have to meet me halfway. Now, have you been following the instructions? You've followed every single one of them meticulously.
Yeah.
So when you've been doing them, you've been thinking about doing them even before you do them, right?
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, because, you know, remember, you've got the time to wash your hands, you've got the time to clean your kitchen. What you've got to create time for is your recovery. I'm pleased. Sandra is following the instructions. She tells me, and I believe her.
Well, 10:02 was my last exercise. Done them all.
If she's obsessing about doing things which are going to make her feel good, soon that will collapse the old negative obsessions out, which are, you know, dysfunctional ones about cleaning everything all the time.
And when Sandra returns from holiday, it seems that her state of mind has improved.
So bring me up to speed. What's been happening?
I'm feeling a lot more relaxed about things. I'm not cleaning as much. I'm still doing my bits, but not as bad.
Oh, okay. So on the positive side, there's less cleaning. But how much? I just want to know. So, you know, if before it was 100%,
yeah.
How much, what percentage?
Well, I think about half. I think about 50%
wow.
less.
No, that shows me that the pattern has begun to undo.
And back in Leeds.
Hi. Come in.
She even allows the camera into her flat for the first time.
Right, so 146 is...
And she's still doing her exercises.
Anything. 325 is the next one, and that's hold 1 point for 18 seconds. So if I set my alarm for 15:25, then every time.
I feel like it's made a difference, the treatment that my mum's had with Paul. I definitely feel like there is some things that she's not managed to achieve yet, but if she keeps working at it, then hopefully, yes, she will be cured.
It was very good what he said, actually, that is a sign of people you love being around you and things like that. And I think that's been going through my head a lot, and him saying that, and me thinking that, thinking, yeah, when I am on my own and there's no crumbs and no dust, that is a sign of loneliness.
She's making real progress. If she follows Paul's instructions, she'll continue to improve. But Sandra has one major hurdle to overcome.
That's always been my biggest fear, letting people in. And it's so stupid because you're here now and nothing's happening, and if I want to clean up, I'll clean up like tomorrow or later, I'll come back and do it. I'm not happy about showing you any rooms. I wouldn't want to go around any of the flat at the moment. I don't feel up to doing that.
Although her daughter has moved out, Sandra continues to push forward with her recovery and is currently looking for a new place to live with her fiancé. A fresh start for Sandra. Time will tell.